guys, so it's me, Kiani. Today's video, I'm back to share with you my everyday soft glam tutorial. This is one of those tutorials that I feel like is super easy, that every person needs in their arsenal because it's part of our routine. Once we hit over the age of 50, slowing down, being more intentional about the products that we use and why we use them and how we use them is even much more important because it's going to be the thing that's going to fuel our mindset, our confidence, and our glow throughout the day. I'm hoping that you feel the intention behind this video, and if you do, make sure that you click that subscribe button. Also leave in the comments any of the products that you're using now to feel soft, confident, and secure in your makeup application. And without further ado, grab your makeup bag and let's get into this makeup tutorial. The products that I've actually chosen today in the order that I'm going to be applying them are very, very important because we're starting with the end result in mind. I'm going to go ahead and move into skincare. I'm going to be grabbing my Eyebrow First Spray Serum. You guys, I have literally fallen in love with how amazingly hydrated my skin always looks. And it's just with a few sprays and a few tap-ins, it just really takes the skin from looking dry and lifeless to a luminous. Not to mention, one of the main ingredients in this product is white truffle, and I think I actually mentioned white truffle is a key ingredient in some of my favorite Estee Lauder products. So next, I'm moving into my Hydra Zen moisturizer. This is by Lancome. It is pretty much touted as a oil control moisturizer, but what I love about this moisturizer, even on my dry skin, is how quickly it absorbs in. It still gives me the right amount of moisture, but with it submerging in the skin so quickly, I can move on to the next step and not feel like I'm having to walk around and wait. But if you are waiting a little bit before you apply makeup, let's have a sip of protein coffee, shall we? That's good. Because my Hydra Zen moisturizer doesn't necessarily have sunscreen, I'm really going to ramp up the glow and protect the skin using my Black Girl sunscreen. A little bit goes a long way. This one doesn't leave any type cast on the skin, so whether you're fully into summer or taking on your winter hue, it's not going to cast on the skin. Like, it goes on slightly light, but it doesn't do anything but leave the beautiful, beautiful silkiness protection that we definitely love and need. And while I allow that sunscreen a chance to penetrate, I'm going to grab a dry beauty blender and I'm just going to remove any of the excess moisturizer from brows, because now we're going to move into framing the face. And how are we doing that? Eyebrows. I have two of my new favorite brow pens that I've been using just to really anchor the brow, make them mimic natural hair follicles out of my face. I've been really, really impressed with these brow pens, but even more so is the spoolie that comes in the pen. And I'm just really going to whisk these brow hairs up. Regardless if your brows grow in thinly or thick, you want to choose the tools that's actually going to help you again with the end result that you're looking for. Mine are pretty much as arched as they're going to be, but I want to fill them in, and that's where this pen comes in. There are 3 little hairs here. If you don't watch it, how intensely you apply, you can add too much. But I am literally gradually dragging this pen just to create a little bit more density around the root, and I'm literally barely flicking up. Now, when I first started using this pen, I thought about how quickly messy this could get. So practice does make perfect. Control the amount you put on, but best of all, this is why I like doing my brows first, because I can give the product time to dry down, go back to the spoolie, brush it out, and create the shape and intensity that I really want. If this one is too much, they do also make a 2-prong pen, and I would possibly suggest going to a shade or 2 lighter because it does come out pretty intense. So I'm going to give that time to dry, and I'm going to move on to the other side. And now we're going to get to blending this up and out. Trust me, this is a trust the process type moment. And this always freaks people out but I promise you they're going to look amazing once we're done. The key here is to allow the pen to dry down. It's kind of like having a pen written on the back of a photo. If the ink is still dry and the photo is very slick, the pen is going to slide across it. Give it time to dry down and you will be able to manipulate it back into shape. But for now, I'm just going to brush up and we're going to what? Move on to the next step. Now, because I want to softly frame my face to bring in those beautiful soft contrasts to bone structure, I'm going to move in with my black opal foundation stick. You can use any undertone that is about 3 shades deeper than your complexion to really frame your face. If your face is a little bit more oval than mine, you won't need as much. But with me dealing with such a round face, typically I like to bring the focus right down the middle. And how am I able to achieve that? With a good contour stick. So I'm going to start at the highest point of my cheek. Although my cheek is here, I'm going to go right up and just do a tiny, maybe half of an inch marking. And I'm also going to drag a few strokes along the forehead because I really want to warm up the perimeter of my face as well. And then I'm just going to add a little bit down the bridge of the nose, and to create a beautiful chiseled neck area, 2 strokes underneath the neck. Because my brushes are clean, I'm grabbing a little bit more of my Dialga spray, and this way the product is going to blend into the skincare that's on my face instead of sticking to the brush. So I'm just going to whisk that and blend. Can we see how smoothly that instantly contoured the face? Spray once or twice more, and I'm going to move around the perimeter of the face. So softly blending that in, back and forth, leaving no lines of demarcation. Pinching the brush, pulling down the bridge of the nose. And even if your nose is a little bit more on the narrow side, creating these beautiful, beautiful shadows, really bring the face a nice glow. Don't forget to blend underneath the neck and create that nice shadow underneath the neck. Can we see what just happened? I instantly warmed up my face and there are no lines. That's how we like it. Next, we're going to move into blush. Yes, I'm using a cream blush as well. A little bit more on the peachy coral side. This is by Juvia's Place. And I'm also going to grab another dual fiber brush, spraying it ever so slightly as well. The brush that I've actually picked up is one of the new Morphe brushes. Are we seeing how this brush is angled? Which is perfect because it allows me to pick the product up. Can you see that? And turn it, and I can stamp it right on the cheek. So I'm not having to do a lot of manipulation to the product. It's just really allowing me to softly build that product up. And it is going to look a little bit more intense until everything is completely done. But you want to still have product left on the face once you finalize with the step. But you don't want the product screaming. This is why I've chosen to do it in this technique, which is basically called underpainting. But for us, it's going to create soft glow. Don't be afraid of blush. It's going to be that warm kiss that the skin actually needs. Now, because I know at this point your brows are probably really getting on your nerves, we're going to go ahead and clean them up. I'm going to grab my Haus Labs concealer in the shade number 34, and I will give a bravo to Haus Labs because they have reformulated the applicator tip, and it really does hang on to the wand better. But I'm going to clean it off ever so slightly, and I'm going to use this as a tool to clean up my brows. I like using shades that are super close to my natural complexion because we're not really thinking about highlighting the under eye bone at this point. Although the end result, it will be slightly lifted, but I want to make sure that I'm getting a shade that's close to my natural complexion, so it's very undetectable that I've made such a mess of my brows in the initial stages. I'm just going to blend down. So this way you can really move through the eyebrow application process and not get hung up on perfecting it, because this is going to help you do a lot more of the work. While that kind of settles in, I'm going to grab a little bit of night moisturizer, and I'm going to use this underneath this delicate part of the eye. Now, if you love a good eye cream, this would be the time to do so, but I've chosen my Lancome Rénergie This is a multi-lifting cream, and this is one of those economical options that I've had to make. I want hydration all over the face, not necessarily just around the eye. I can get the most beautiful soothing of the under eye area and make sure my concealer stays intact. I can also use this all over the face. So as expensive as things are, this is the option that has been working for me, but it's a multi-use product. Tapping that out, I'm going to go in with a full coverage concealer. This one is the Born This Way multi-sculpting concealer. The shade I'm using is called Golden, and I'm just going to clean that off just a little bit too, and I'm going to set that right in this inner V of the eye. Going to bring it down the bridge of the nose, right on top of the forehead, and just going to highlight the areas that I want a little bit more brightening. Really going to create the most amazing lift to the skin. By using that moisturizer underneath the eye, it's also going to allow the concealer to blend out, not crease, not get crepey, and really allow you to set it nicely. This is why I use the eye cream right before the concealer, because I still wanted that area wet. It's going to serve us well when we get to that powder step. I've been on the hunt to replace a lot of my old brushes because obviously a lot of the brands that I use their brushes are no longer in business. So I wanted to make sure I could recommend a good brush to you when it comes to this step. And this is going to be my new favorite. This is the Real Techniques Tapered Cheek Brush. And this is the RT449, and I know this is much bigger than any of the brushes that you probably have for underneath the eye area, but what we want with a brush like this, when we're covering such a small surface area, we want a brush that we could get in, deliver the product without having to remove product. We don't want to stamp the concealer in. We want it just to blend out softly, and we don't want to have to reapply. So again, this brush is clean. I am spraying it with my Eyebrow spray, and I'm going to start right down here on the chin area, and you're going to see how this concealer just buffs out. Did you see that? I know. And I'm going to start here on the forehead, and I'm literally just going to start to tap product in. This is why dampening your brush is going to give you that beautiful soft blend that you want, almost a airbrush blend. It's going to literally be undetectable when you get done. Like, the tools are as important, I think, as the technique, because tools help develop technique. Turning this brush on the side, I can literally tap it out, and I think this is another reason that I love this brush so much, is because it will allow you to literally 360 it and just continue to move. Now it's time to get into the under eye area. I'm just going to turn it to the side and start tapping it out. I'm not moving the concealer at this point. I'm literally just blending it in. Are we seeing that? How the product just moved? Turning it on its side again. And anywhere that it spilled out from where it needed to be, I'm blending up. I know you saw it. If not, stop the video and replay. I also like spraying the Eyebrow spray on the brush, probably a little bit more than I do on my face at this point, because it is going to be very targeted what I'm doing. I'm very intentional about moving this concealer around, getting that beautiful full coverage glow and glam without destabilizing the product. Sometimes if the skin is too wet, too slick, the product doesn't have chance to bond, which means you end up adding more product, and at the end of it you end up hating the makeup look. So we're going to be very slow, very intentional about the products that we use, the tools that we're grabbing, because this is part of our routine. Nobody wants a bad routine. I'm here to help you. Nobody wants a bad routine, because it's hard stamped in our mind, and then that process starts to be more irritating. Then we just get away from doing it altogether, and honey, it just becomes a whole mess. So that's not what we're here for. We want to be very intentional about our makeup application. So this is where we are so far. Are we seeing how that blush no longer looks like ah? And are we seeing how the brows are no longer looking Etch-a-Sketch? I know. I know. It's part of my routine, girl. It's part of my routine. Next up, we're going to grab my Morphe Duo. You guys, obsessed. I've been so obsessed with this product because it is just honestly just enough. Now, I know that somebody's going to say, well, Kiana, you put on the black opal. I did. But because the shade is much different, now I'm going in for blend. Can we see the difference between the two? Can we see how red and intentional this shade is and how soft and more bronzy this one looks? So I've created the structure with the denser product. Now I'm going to create the softness because I love the formulation. It's very smooth, very, very whipped. It's also going to be in the same formulation. It's going to keep that skin looking nice and hydrated. And anywhere that lighter concealer was, I'm just going to blend over it so it's almost erasing the eraser. Do you remember in elementary school when you would use an eraser on a white piece of paper and you would be able to see streaks from where you used the eraser? This is going to make sure that you don't see those streaks. I know that land for some of my moms that are sending kids off to school. Now, this eyebrow is looking a little bit more blended down than this one. Don't even worry about it. I'm buffing right over it, and I can come back and address it after I'm completely done. This step, I feel like, is the most crucial step when it comes to makeup application, because this is when we're going to enter powder. Adding powder to any makeup look can create the most beautiful, smooth canvas if it's done properly. So we have applied different layers of product in very similar tones to where the skin is pretty much the way we want it to be. The only thing the powder is going to do at this point is stop the makeup from moving. I don't want to color it anymore. I don't want to make it more mattified. I literally want it to be settled in its place. So therefore, if you are not liking what you're seeing now, powder really is not going to fix that. When it comes to more mature skin, you really want to have this beautiful, airy canvas, and then we gradually add that powder in just to make sure that it doesn't move all day. Any other blend out that you need to do, this is the time to do it. So I like to grab my bronzing brush one more time. I'm going to pop back over my cheek area with my blush brush, not adding any more product, but just making sure that it didn't get lost in the sauce. I'm going to grab my RCMA No Color powder. You guys, I have tried so many powders. This is the one. Grabbing my concealer brush, make sure that there's no excess concealer or eye cream that's building up there. And I'm going to grab a bulb brush. I haven't found a replacement for this brush yet, but I am looking. And I'm going to start down by the nose and tap up to the eye. Because all I want to do is set this concealer down. Now, can we see the difference? Can we see how this is still a little bit damp, a little bit more textured? This is a little bit more mattified. I didn't say that I'm baking it. I am literally just making sure that that additional glow that the concealer is giving, it needs to be removed from this area. Just gradually tapping that out. Can we see how all around the perimeter of my face is still glowy? But this area, if you are trying to conceal fine lines, puffiness, which we typically have at this stage of life, you can softly remove detection from that, but it's definitely in the care that you give to that area. Now I'm just gradually settling the makeup in areas that it can be a little bit less glowy. I don't mind the cheek area being glowy. I don't necessarily want around my mouth area to be glowy, so I'm just kind of patting any excess glow away. And just coming back in, reanalyzing the eyebrows using a magnifying mirror. If you have not started using one, girl, how? Also, when it comes to this tail, notice how I'm leaving a little bit of surface area open here, because this is where we can kind of make the eye area look turned down. We want the eye, leave the eye lifted up. Now for every day, I do not do eyeshadow, but a lot of times I will grab a little bit of this bronzer and kick that into the crease of my eyelid. And that, to me, is the most intentional way to address this lid space. And remember, I left this eye area open. I'm going to drag out. Now, everything is soft and blended, but I don't stop there. When it comes to the outer perimeter of my cheek area, I still like to lay down an intentional powder shade, very, very similar to the cream. And what's going to happen, it keeps that area from fading midday. If I left my skin damp and glowy, even though my skin is on the drier side, at some point that makeup could get dislodged and then you have an opening. So by using the complementary shade from this cream to powder and just really setting in the cream that I've already laid down, I'm good to go. And I want to highlight that cheek area and bring that a little bit more forward as well. And I'm just using this powder blush, and this is by Nokia. The shade is called Peach, and it's a mineral blush. If I can't find this one available online, because I did find it at the beauty supply store and I just picked it up because I thought the shade was absolutely spectacular. I do also love the Milani Baked blushes. They're all the rage again. I'll leave all the products that I've used thus far and throughout this video down in the description box, because I don't wear false lashes every day. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have a mascara and sunglasses. But when I tell you, Fenty Beauty and their Hella Thick mascara has really given me some interest in a little bit more of a high-end mascara. And let me show you why. I'm grabbing my mirror, magnifying mirror, looking up. But this way I can really see each and every one of these lashes. Hello? Every lash that I had, even the ones that I was not able to see, it is creating more and more from each one of them. And all I'm doing is stroking this mascara up and moving my hand from inner to outer. I know y'all just saw that. This mascara has made a believer out of me. And be sure to wiggle, so that keeps the lashes from getting clumpy. Now, I'm not opposed to having a good thick clumpy lash, but while we get each lash at attention, we want to move our hands, remember, all the way around from outer to inner, outer to inner. And having a magnifying mirror really makes this process like a meditation moment. And whereas I just have some right there on the outer part of my eye, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to give it time to dry and it will just flake away. Are we seeing that? Y'all, my lashes have been rehabilitated. I love this so much that I purchased it in the cobalt blue. And I'm going to put that on the lower lash. I think this gives a beautiful accent color, especially this time of the year. I will tell you that as intense as this color looks now, I did notice as the day progressed, the shade does lessen in intensity, but the length does remain. Great for everyday routine. Very whimsical, really clean, very aesthetic, very soft, very easy to apply. We're going to move into moisturizing the lips using the lip balm from LipTricks. I like to create a little bit of moisture on the lips. I don't typically need to use it in my moisturizing steps because it works instantly. It's made of herbal mint, soothing to the skin, keeps them from being chapped. Perfect for setting up to use the next product, which is our long wearing liquid matte. So many different colors we could actually use today, but I'm going to grab 2. These are from my liquid matte collection. I'm going to grab the shade Yum. Yum is a beautiful spice brown. I do love using a liquid matte as a liner. One, because it does not budge. Once it sets down, it's going to be there all day. Typically, we mentioned that it's 8 to 12 hour wear, but I did add a little bit of lip balm underneath just to give me a soft blend before, so we're looking at more to 6 to 8 hours. But using the tip of that, you can really create the most precision application. And even better, if I wanted to do it opaquely, look how beautiful that is. But I want to make the shade a little bit softer, more neutral. So I'm going to grab one of the first shades that we created through my brand LipTricks. This shade is called Present. Present gives you a mindset of being, I'm in the present while creating this makeup application. I don't feel like the makeup needs any more. So I'm just actually going to add this accent. Applying it right into the middle of the lip just to give the lip a beautiful, beautiful forward effect. Liquid mattes also, when applied properly, do not fade into fine lines and wrinkles. And I can just press the shade in. I love to give it time to dry down. Typically, I can wear my lipstick like this all day long, but if I wanted a little bit of gloss to add on top, I would definitely mention one of our holographic glosses. This is in the shade My Pom Pom. All these products are going to be linked down in the description box below, where you can actually grab your own if you need them. And now that the makeup is done, I feel the need just to brighten underneath the eye, and I'm using my Laura Mercier powder. This is just a final step that I like to do to detail out the makeup, just to remove any excess glow, not tons of it. I've literally had this, which is the Soft Honey. I've had this probably over a year now, because we don't bake at this point, honey. We just perfect. And there you have my everyday soft glam tutorial. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this video and picked up some amazing tips and techniques that I've been using on myself, and I definitely want to share them with you. Comment down below, what was the main tip that stood out to you? Have you tried any of these products, or what is your new favorite product? You guys know I love to know. Comment down below. You guys also know I love to connect with you, so make sure you connect with me. Follow me on all my social media links to never miss another upload. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hugs and kisses. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.